Abuxigan was our ancestor, who was born in Arizona. He knew firsthand about the separation and destruction of Wakatilians because his father, Waninyekavu, taught him about his history and different cultures as a whole. Being the son of Queen Anaya, the first who was half Computan and half Wakatilian, they nicknamed them many names like half-breed and a few others, but they called themselves mestizos. And that's how that name came to be. The mestizos were a unified force. That was an exceptional group of people who were well trained in the art of war created by Sabaoth himself, called Poing de Dia or Hands of God, but he was also well trained in the art of peace. By this time, many mestizos were very well respected and feared in the West. The mestizos were created when Chi's father, Shaka, was visited by a servant of Sabaoth a few months before Chi's death named Mletsi. Cush interrupted Samuel before he could finish. "Dandaddy?" Samuel said. "Yes, son, the same one." Cush asks, "How old is he?" Samuel said, "When Sabaoth said, 'Let us create man in our image,' it was Mletsi and Shika he was speaking to." Cush leaned back in his chair as Samuel continued. Mletsi told Shaka to send Anaya to the Americas right before her mother's death to his brother's land, where she later married Waninyekavu. However, it was told to her uncle Mal that a renegade Abenian murdered her, as they obeyed the word of Sabaoth. Shaka didn't go himself, but sent his bravest warriors to a reservation in the far western part of the Americas in the old town of Tucson, Arizona. It was there she would meet Waninyekavu, a Wakatilian warrior, a Louisiana prince who came to Arizona seeking the power and glory of Sabaoth. Samuel continued with his story, telling Cush about how the Wakatilians eventually formed their own nations, and each nation separated into clans and refused the term Wakatilians. The nations were founded on the principles of unity, equality, and justice for all its people, regardless of their background. The nations thrived and prospered, and it became a beacon of hope and inspiration for all oppressed people around the world. Samuel looked at Cush and saw that his eyes were becoming heavy. "That's enough for today, and I've gotten off track. Anyways, go get you some rest, and we will continue tomorrow." Cush got up early the following day and did his chores around the house hastily, rushing to get to his grandfather's house. He skipped breakfast, because he knew Big Ma always prepared a feast whenever she cooked. He ran to his grandfather's house less than a quarter of a mile, until he saw the front door. There was a 6-foot-high fence that ran along the pathway. He saw Gemini standing there staring at him, smiling and waving. "Good morning, Gemini!" The horse stomped his hoofs into the ground and shook his head. Cush was excited and smiled as he got closer to his grandfather's door. Samuel's stories were so vivid and clear to Cush, as if he could see the characters in real life and in real time. Knocking on the door, he was met by his little cousins, Cliff, nicknamed Sweets, and Ron, whose nickname was Baby Bruh. Cliff was 5 years old, and the oldest of the two brothers, but wherever you saw Cliff, you saw Ron running behind him. Cliff had the door cracked open and a delicious aroma came rushing out that had Cush's mouth watering. Ron throws open the door the rest of the way, standing in the middle of the doorway, half-dressed. "What you want?" said Ron, blocking Cush from entering the house. "It's Cush!" shouted Cliff. "Little boy, get in here with no clothes on." It was Mama Sook, Big Ma's best friend, grabbing Ron by the hand and moved him out of the way. "Good morning, Mama Sook," Cush said. Mama Sook smiled. "Good morning, child." A loud voice came out of the kitchen. "Sweets! What I done told you about opening that there door. Sook, bring that naked-ass boy here. I'm so tired of telling that boy the same thing." Hearing Big Ma's voice in a stern voice. "Who's at that door, this time of the morning?" Cush shouts. "Morning, Big Ma, it's me." Recognizing his voice, Big Ma shouts. "Oh, hey Cush, I forgot you and Samuel were talking. Get Baby Bruh, and you and Sweets come on in and wash up. Breakfast will be ready in about 10 minutes.